Alexander Barclay West was a man shaped by hardship, patience, and quiet determination. In a time when the American Old West was known for violence, chaos, and lawlessness, he stood apart as someone who built power not through fear, but through intelligence and fairness. He was born in the early 1800s in rural Ohio into a family of farmers. Life there was difficult and demanding. From a young age, Alexander worked the land with his father and brothers. Long days in the fields taught him discipline, respect for nature, and the value of hard work. His father often reminded him that land was not just something to take from, but something that demanded responsibility. As Alexander grew older, tragedy struck his family. One by one, he lost his loved ones to illness, accidents, and the harsh realities of frontier life. By the time he reached his early 20s, the home that once gave him comfort had become a place filled with loss and sorrow. Ohio no longer felt like a home. Carrying his grief with him, Alexander decided to leave everything behind and head west in search of a new beginning. Unlike many young men who traveled west seeking gold or revenge, Alexander had a different goal. He was not chasing quick wealth or fame. He wanted stability, purpose, and a chance to rebuild his life. The western frontier was expanding rapidly. Railroads were being built, new towns were forming, and rivers were turning into trade routes. Where others saw danger and uncertainty, Alexander saw opportunity. He did not make his name with a gun. In fact, violence was something he avoided whenever possible. His true strength was his mind. He had a natural ability to negotiate, to plan carefully, and to think long-term. He entered the timber industry, supplying wood that was essential for building homes, railways, and towns. Later, he became involved in railroad-related businesses, understanding that rail lines would define the future of the nation. Many of his business decisions were risky, but they were never careless. Alexander studied people, land, and timing. Over the years, his careful planning paid off, and he became a wealthy man. Despite his success, he never forgot where he came from. He still respected the land and the people who worked it. What truly set Alexander Barclay West apart was his strong personal code of honor. At a time when powerful railroad companies and wealthy cattle barons often forced small farmers off their land, Alexander chose to stand with the settlers. He used his influence and resources to protect families who had little power of their own. He believed that progress should not come at the cost of fairness. Alexander was not eager to fight, but when pushed, he stood firm. He believed that even the wild frontier needed rules, and that communities could not survive without trust and mutual respect. People began to know him not as a ruthless businessman, but as a fair and dependable leader. He never became famous. Songs were not written about him, and newspapers rarely mentioned his name. Yet his impact was everywhere. Towns built along railroads, homes made from timber, and farms saved from powerful interests all carried traces of his work. Alexander Barclay West was one of the quiet architects of the Old West. He did not shape history through dramatic acts or violence, but through steady effort, ethical choices, and long-term vision. When he passed away, the frontier had already begun to change. Railroads had connected distant lands, and law and order were slowly replacing chaos. His name faded from public memory, but his legacy remained. The Old West was not built by guns alone. It was built by people like Alexander Barclay West, who believed in patience, fairness, and community, even in a world that often rewarded cruelty instead. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.